Hello and welcome to the Manifestation Podcast with Peggy McColl. Peggy is a world-renowned wealth, business, and manifestation expert, as well as the best-selling author of the brand new book, The Demand Principle. Are you ready to manifest your dreams? Tune in now.
Hi there, it's Peggy McColl, and I want to welcome you back to the Manifestation Podcast, where we're here to help you to manifest your every desire. For this podcast, we have a special segment for you, which is some of the content that we recently delivered at an event called The Rich Experience. So listen up, and when you get to the end and you love it, leave us a 5-star review and make sure that you share it with your friends. Here we go.
All right, Celine, thank you so much. Thank you for the introduction or the reintroduction. And Phil, we're so delighted to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Phil, I know you were busy this morning. You missed an off the charts amazing morning. We had a great time. And, you know, a big part of it is the incredible people that we're blessed to serve here. Phil, as you can see, the chat box is just on fire. Oh, yeah. And the energy has been incredible. I mean, talk about like-minded people, people that have desires, people that are connecting to their passions, people that are choosing to experience more richness in their life, which is really what our day is all about. So for everyone, I've talked about Phil this morning. We are co-creators and co-deliverers of the phenomenal Getting into Hollywood program, which I encourage anyone who even has an inkling of getting into that business to join that program with us. We did a giveaway this morning, Phil. We gave away attendance to the Getting into Hollywood program.
Cool.
Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? And we've just really appreciated everyone being here. Lots of engagement, lots of connection here. Really appreciate you guys. So Phil, thank you for investing some time to join us here for a short segment this afternoon. I know how busy you are. So for those of you that don't know Phil Goldfine, he is an Academy Award-winning producer. He's also an Emmy Award-winning producer. He is a Tony? Yes, Tony. Two-time Tony. And Panda won which is the Canadian award for film, and also a gold medalist as in swimming in a particular category, and all around heck of a nice guy. You know, and Bob and I were on the phone yesterday. We were talking about you, Phil. Your ears were probably burning, as they say. And that's one of the things that we both really appreciate about you is just what a kind heart you have and what an incredible being you are. And what Bob had said to me about you is that you really move into action. Like when he suggests you do something, you do it. There's not like some hesitation or maybe I'll put it on a list somewhere. You do it. And I believe that's really important. So Phil, we're here talking about creating more richness in one's life. And you've created a lot of richness in your life. As Celine had mentioned, you're a business owner, you're an investor, you're a family man, you're a father, you're a husband, you wear many hats. How do you do it all?
I never look at it that way, Peggy. And back at it. You're a mother and a wife and a grandmother and a business owner and one of the most successful entrepreneurs I know. Talk about taking immediate action. I think you just balance it. I think you figure out what your priorities are. I mean, a big thing that you and I do every morning is study. And so I know that you and I and Anders get on the phone every morning as accountability partners. But, you know, I'm also doing at least an hour of studying a day, at least minimum. And that really prioritizes you. So you know what your goal is, you know what you want to do, and you just balance it.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. You know, I think people really underestimate how they can better utilize time. You know, we're all given 24 hours a day. And when we look at the things that you accomplish and get done, it's significantly more than what other people in your industry are doing. And I mentioned this morning to everyone that's at this event, is that we've got so much power and so much potential within us. We really underestimate what we can actually get done. And if we just give some focused attention to it, and that's one of the things that we do every day with declaring, these are the things that I will do today that will be accomplished, and being focused on that. There was a question about that this morning. So how did you get into this? How did you get into personal development and studying personal development on a regular basis?
So about 20 years ago, I was I was in the entertainment industry, and I was doing okay, you know, by outsider standards. But I just felt empty. I felt like I wasn't making enough money. You know, it's all the usual. I'm sure a lot of people on this call can relate to. But so I read Bob Proctor's book. In fact, I have it right here. You Were Born Rich, and I happened to be working for a guy who actually knew Bob, and he was doing a project with him. And I just said, he had told me he had to leave early one day, and he said, "Yeah, I'm going out to dinner with this guy with a bunch of authors." And I said, "Oh, who?" And he goes, "This guy and this guy and this guy and this woman." And then he said, "Bob Proctor." And I go, "Wait, Bob Proctor, the guy who wrote this book? I just bought this book, and I had just read it the prior weekend." And I said, "You don't know this guy?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm going to go have dinner with him right now." He goes, "You want to talk to him?" And I go, "Yeah, I want to talk to him." So he actually put Bob on the phone with me that day evening. And I basically, he said that he was on his way to Vegas. And I said, "Well, that's just a half-hour plane ride from you, 40 minutes. And he goes, "Great. Why don't you come over and have lunch tomorrow?" And so I did. And we spent probably 3 or 4 hours in the, I'll never forget, Peggy, I'm sure you can relate to this. We were at the Bellagio in the dining room area. And so he goes there a lot. So,
Yes.
so we were there, and I've never turned back. It wasn't always easy because I did question a little bit of it just because I didn't come from that kind of a background. I came from a family of medical doctors who were very science-based, education-based. And when I told them, well, I really like this guy and I really like what he's talking about, what a great way to live. And everybody would say, it sounds okay, but I don't think you really need that. And so I just put all that aside and I just said, you know what, I'm going to listen to this guy because he's got something going on. And so I just never turned back. And I've pretty much done every program that he's ever done. I mean, I speak to him. He's a really close friend of mine. He still coaches me, and it's just amazing. And I just basically am really grateful for you, for him, for everybody.
That's awesome. Well, gratitude is definitely something that you express on a consistent basis. And I know that gratitude has been a significant contributor to you living this amazing life that you're living now.
First thing I do every single day, basically, and I know people talk about it, but I really sit down, and the first thing I do, even before I'm talking to you and Anders at 5 o'clock in the morning, my time, but I'm trying to consistently wake up at 4. And the first thing I do is I really do gratitude. But as you and I have talked about, I do gratitude all day long. Like I'm doing it right now. I do it all the time. And I just basically think how grateful I am. And it's such a great state to be in. I mean, as long as you're like just feeling that, it puts you in such a high vibration all the time, and it keeps you calm and it keeps you collected, and you just really attract everything you want. And so I really, really use gratitude. And in the morning, I don't just write down, I'm so grateful for, my investments. I really think about it and think, okay, so you're grateful for your investments, but like how? Because it offers financial freedom and more money comes in, and it's so fun to watch your statements grow every single month. And so I do that kind of gratitude, and it really works. It works every single time.
I love that. You had mentioned that you invest in Bob's programs. Bob's a friend, and he is mentoring you. And why is it that
I've invested in it?
What did you say?
I said, you name the program and I've invested in it.
Right. Okay. So, and I understand it and I know the answer to this question, but I really would love everyone who's on the call right now to understand this as well. Why is it that here you are already successful, accomplished many things? Why is it that you're still investing significant amounts of money into your study, into your learning, into your awareness?
So as we've actually had this kind of conversation, but our human brains, fortunately or unfortunately, are programmed to focus on the negative if we're not constantly thinking about what it is that we want. And I don't know why it is. I don't really question why. I mean, I'm sure it has to do with the fact of how our parents grew up and their parents and their parents' parents. And so it's these hundreds of years of paradigms that are ingrained inside you as a child. And so if you're not thinking about what you want, somebody from like probably 150 years ago is in your subconscious saying, you don't need that. That's too hard. Don't do that. Just watch television, go see a movie, which, by the way, I encourage all of you go see.
Of course you do. Yeah, go watch Netflix.
Exactly. And Hulu, BET Plus coming to you soon. And so we've got these paradigms, and I was reading a book about Napoleon Hill once, Napoleon Hill, and he talks about this. He says that the way our brains are focused is that if you're not constantly only focused on what you want, your brain naturally goes to a default of what you don't want. And that really resonated with me. So you have to study every single day. It doesn't matter how high you go, because you and I both know examples, and everybody on this call knows examples of people who have reached great heights and then went way down.
Right.
And what Bob calls them is unconscious competence, except that they're not so confident. He and I, just the other day, were talking about an example of a movie star who was making somewhere around 75 million a year. He was spending about 60 million a year, and he went down. I mean, he's gone. And he was at the height of being a movie star, and he's nowhere to be found now. And it's really interesting. So if you're not studying this stuff, and if you're not practicing it, and if you're not investing in yourself, you're going to go down. It's just the way that it is. True. And there's no judgment. I mean, if you're happy doing that, and it's going to sound a little oxymoron, but if you're happy in that kind of not so happy state, then I guess it's for you, but it's just not for me. And I know it's not for you. And it's probably not for anybody on this call. Everybody's on this call, I'm sure, for a reason. And I'm sure they're listening to you intently, because look at what you've done. Look where you came from. Mm-hmm. Peggy lives in an amazing, amazing house. And she manifested it last summer. Really cool.
That was kind of a fun experience. I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking about how, you're friends with Bob, but Bob's your mentor. I'm friends with Bob. Bob's my mentor. You and I are accountability partners. We run programs together. We do events together. And I was thinking about how important it is to hang out with like-minded individuals, people that think the way you think. Do you tend to hang out more or mostly with people like-minded?
Boy, I sure do try to. I'm in a business where not everybody studies this. And so what these kind of programs offer you is how to deal with those kind of situations, how to deal with those kind of people. We all have obstacles every single day, whether it's people or obstacles. And what this material helps you do, and this mindset helps you do, is to navigate over those people and those obstacles. So
beautiful. And when you met Bob, you had a goal to be more financially wealthy and to win an Oscar. Or was the Oscar your goal when you first met Bob?
It was in the back of my mind to win an Oscar, just simply because probably at the time I met him, it's interesting, was probably of March of 1999. And so the Academy Awards had just come and gone. And I remember every single year I was always thinking, when am I going to do something that's really important, that's going to win an Oscar? Which is not the way that you want to do it, by the way. But this is almost 21 years ago. And so I was talking to him the first time I met him, and I said, look, I want to run my own studio. I want to win an Oscar. And he goes, I can show you how to get all that. And I said, I want to get more money. He goes, show you how to get that. And then I was sort of thinking to myself, what does this guy know about winning an Oscar? What does he know about winning an Emmy? Because I also wanted an Emmy at the time as well. And I'm thinking, he's never been in the entertainment industry. But I gave it the benefit of the doubt, and I decided that I had nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I just did exactly what he told me. Now, I wish I had put even more time in it at the very beginning, because it would have happened a lot quicker. And I tell the story sometimes. It took 14 years from the time I met Bob to get the Oscar. When I decided I wanted a Tony, it took only 14 months, just because I can apply it and manifest it a lot quicker. And so I wish I had listened to it back then. But then in the same breath, I'm going to say, I'm glad that I went on the journey I went on, because now I know how to do it, and I can do it really quick.
Yes, absolutely true. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but still a gift. You know what we can learn from looking back. I think the same things from time to time. You know, I'm loving the comments that we're receiving in the right hand side as well. You know, folks that are sharing their ideas. William just wrote Stepping Stones. Phil, I had bought this book this week by the rapper Russ. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy or not, but he's a rapper, fairly well known. Eric had told me about him, and really positive songs. His songs are all about manifestation. And he essentially says in there that when I come up against an obstacle or a challenge, he says, or a failure even, he looks at it as a stepping stone. Yeah. And, you know, it's kind of like that expression, next, you know, when something doesn't happen the way you want. And like most people will give up. Most people will do, as that story goes from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, when they're 3 feet from gold, they're just going to pack it in because they're not seeing the evidence of it in sight. And so what are the things that you do that when you have experiences that may not go as you would have loved or might not be happening as fast as you like, what do you do to keep the vibration and the energy high?
Well, you know, it's so funny. So when the pandemic started, I was talking to Bob and I was selling movies. And he was talking about this situation where he was talking about salespeople in general on another call. And he said that if you didn't make the sale, you're just not good enough yet. Doesn't mean that you're not going to be good enough next time. So what's so interesting is that I had a sales call. It was for a big deal with Netflix and I didn't sell it. And so I called him and I said, you know what? I just wasn't good enough. But what I did is that I learned from that. I got more prepared. And then I sold the same project to a different system, a different streamer, if you will, almost 10 days later, because I was good enough at that point. And so I don't let it stop me. I just say, okay, you're not good enough right this second, but just figure out what you did wrong and what you can do right to make you good enough. That's all. It's not a judgment. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not like trying to rain on my parade. I'm just saying, okay, what do I have to do to get the sale? What do I have to do to be good enough? And that's it. And it always comes down to the same thing, right, Peggy? Mindset, manifestation, being in the right vibration, and study. Take this program, take that program. It's whatever program works for you.
What do you love most about these materials?
Oh, it keeps you in the proper mindset all the time. All the time. Seriously, 24/7 a day. Because probably as you're going to bed, you're probably listening to your Power Life script or writing down your goals or whatever resonates with you. And it's going to even give you better dreams. I know that sounds a little silly, but it really does. Because there's no reason that you can't live your life like this 365 days a year, every day of your life. Earl Nightingale talks about that. You know, he said you basically set the right goals. Well, back then in the 50s, he was saying set the right goals. Today, you and I would call it a C goal. And basically you can basically go on an amazing journey every day of your life. There's no reason why you can't. I really believe that with all my heart. I really do. And
now, did you believe it before? Like you built that belief?
No, I didn't believe it before. I mean, I'd never even heard of it before. I probably read Think and Grow Rich when I was in my 20s, and I liked it, but I wasn't there where I really understood it. It probably wasn't until another 10 years when I said, okay, you know what? It's got to be. I mean, this has to be your life.
Yeah.
That's why I sign up for every course.
You know, I think about this statement that when we set these goals, stretch goals or whatever goal, that the benefit is not for what we get, but it's for who we become in the process.
Absolutely.
Right. And I think about the things that you've done and the things that you're doing now. Like in our call this morning, you mentioned the gold medal swim you're doing on Sunday. And you told me that you already had a place for it, you know, on your stand. So all of this, you pursuing these goals and accomplishing these goals, what do you feel has been the biggest benefit for you?
Wow, God, Peggy, that's such an awesome question. I mean, I just think the lifestyle of my dreams, right? I mean, basically, I'm living the life that I really want to live. I'm not a real materialistic guy. As you know me, Peggy, it's like I think you only see me dressed in a suit when I have to.
I get it.
So it's just that it makes you such a happy person. I mean, I'm a pretty happy guy most of the time.
Yeah. You know what? I would have answered the question that way as well. Like if someone said, what do I think is the biggest benefit of my 41 years of study? It's how I feel, like how I feel today. Yeah. I live this incredible life and beautiful home and wonderful husband and incredible business. And like all of that, it's great. It's wonderful, but it's really like I've been in the place of emotional pain. And it's not a fun place to be. It was painful. And, when people are abused, or physically abused, we can see the effects of that. But when people have been emotionally abused, psychologically abused, we can't always see the effects visibly. We can see from their results. And so for me, when I first started studying this, my first objective was to get out of pain. Emotional pain, not physical pain, emotional pain. Of course, emotional pain leads to physical pain as well. And I would say that is definitely one of the biggest benefits, is to feel this great sense of peace and calm and fulfillment. And also that opportunity to do what you want when you want, right? Like go where you want, when you want. So Phil, you're a husband and a father of 3 wonderful kids. And how has your work and your study impacted your family with the sense of your studying and the accomplishments that you've made?
Well, I think the most important thing is that I'm able to give my kids peace of mind. I mean, basically they feel, really comfortable. They're very opinionated, especially the 2 12-year-olds.
He has 12-year-old twin girls, by the way.
And all 3 have very specific opinions. But I think that it shows that you can achieve and have whatever it is you want. You just have to decide what you want. I mean, this is what I always tell everybody, including my kids. Just decide what you want, and then think about how that makes you feel. Stay in that vibration, and you have to manifest it. There's no other result. The only result is true manifestation of it. If you think it, feel it, know it's there, use the law of assumption, which you and I talk about all the time, it has to happen. And I think I've seen a lot of confidence building by knowing the fact that you can have whatever it is you want. You just have to decide what you want. And kids are a lot easier because kids know what they want. They really do. Whether it's another toy, whether it's, a new phone, whether it's the latest iPhone, they know. They want it. I need that iPhone. I gotta have it. Gotta have it. No, there's no reason I can't have it. Gotta have it.
Love that. Bridget wrote in the comments section over here on the right-hand side, she said, I heard a quote, if you don't know something, ask teenagers.
Very true. They know it all.
They do. Yeah, we were talking this morning and Phil was saying that his twin daughters, who are 12, know everything now. So it's perfect. Yeah. It's perfect. No more parenting required. They've got it all figured out.
Exactly. Sure.
That's awesome. So Phil, we were talking this morning about getting into Hollywood and that anyone can get into Hollywood. And so now I know you believe that to be true, but if someone wants to get into Hollywood, what would you suggest that they do besides take the Getting into Hollywood program?
It depends. If they want to be a director, that's one path. If they want to be a writer, it's another path. If they want to be an actor, that's another path. They want to be a producer. Do they want to be a grip? Do they want to be a cameraman? Do they want to be a set photographer? There's so many jobs. And right now, a lot of people, and you and I were talking about this the other day, the pandemic has offered, and I know it's awful, but what you and I both know, and from listening to Bob, is that there's always good that comes out of every bad situation. What's good that's come out of this situation is a tremendous need for product. There is such a gigantic need right now with all the different streamers, from HBO Max to Hulu to something that was just announced, but it's not really announced, Walmart Plus. Do you know what Walmart Plus is?
I've heard about it.
So Walmart has now decided that they're also going to go into the business in competition with Amazon. You and I know we never use that word competition, but because we prefer to keep it on the creative. But Walmart has said they're going to go into competition with Prime, And what they're going to do is they've got the free delivery as well if you sign up for a year. But what they're also going to do is put together a video component, just like Amazon Prime. And so you're going to now see another streamer come in that's going to need more product. And when I'm talking product, I'm talking 24 to 45,000 titles per streamer. Wow. And you've got a lot of other streamers out there too. You have BET Plus that just opened that I just made a deal with. You've got Hulu. You've got Shudder, which is only horror product. You've got a new sci-fi streamer that's about to open. So you've got all these different companies, Peacock, and the list just goes on and on and on. So if there was ever time to get into Hollywood, now's a really good time.
I agree. It's an exciting industry for many reasons, but one of the exciting parts about the industry you're in is there's always a need or a want for it. Always. Right? Yeah. Good times, people are into entertainment. Bad times, people are into entertainment. It doesn't matter. And in fact, the time that we're in right now, more people are into it than ever. So it's very exciting.
I mean,
all right. I invited you on.
Great time. Sorry.
I invited you on for 30 minutes. I know you're busy. You've got other meetings. You got meetings at studios this afternoon. You're doing deals. You're
selling, baby.
You're selling, producing, making things happen. And it's been an absolute treat having you here, Phil. I know from the comments that I'm seeing, people are so grateful. Susanna says, oh my God, thank you. So great to see Phil. Thank you. Thanks, Phil. Look at all the nice comments. They're loving you, sending you lots of love and gratitude and appreciation. Are you in your bathing suit? Devin is asking. No, he's got pants on. That's great. That's wonderful. Yeah, actually, when we were talking about the timing of Phil, because he is in LA, so 3 hours behind where I'm at, and we're talking about what time would work for him because he's a busy guy. He was actually talking about maybe doing this from the pool, but I'm not sure the connection would have been great. So, Phil, I'm so grateful for you. Listen, everyone, you're watching this. You just got a little glimpse of Phil Goldfine. We're doing a 2-day event together. So you get the best of both of us. And it is January 9th and 10th. It's called Masters Manifesting. You can get your tickets now. I think Trace still has the early bird special available. He's nodding his head. Also, for those of you that are serious and you'd love to get into Hollywood, we did create a rich special for you today. And you can check that out by going to the link that we posted on your private dashboard. So peggymccall.com/rich. Thank you, Celine. She's amazing, that girl. She just she almost thinks what I'm thinking and then posts it right there. Trace does that too. So Phil, thank you. Have a wonderful morning. I guess it's still morning for you, afternoon, and I'll see you again real soon on our call together.
Thanks for tuning in to the Manifestation Podcast with Peggy McColl. Take your learning deeper by signing up for the free morning manifestation videos at morningmanifestation.com. And follow Peggy on all social media channels for daily updates. See you again.
To get my latest book, The Demand Principle, and to obtain all of the special bonus gifts, you can go right now to thedemandprinciple.com. Again, that URL is thedemandprinciple.com.